Black Experience Project, Junior, Scene 10, Take 1.
My name is Junior, and I am a freelance writer, author, sometimes curriculum consultant, and homeschooler, African-centered homeschooler of two wonderful, brilliant African boys. Only a fool would allow the oppressors of their people to be the primary educators of their children. So, given the option of not tainting my children's minds with voluntarily handing them over to people who neither know nor respect them, and certainly have shown that they have as a group, a pronounced inability to love African children. I'm talking about so-called educators. It was my moral obligation to not put my children in an environment that was and is very profoundly unhealthy, psychologically unhealthy for them. So as a certified educator myself, it was a simple leap of logic to give them the opportunity to be educated in an environment that is built upon love. I have a blood investment in their well-being. And so, yeah, it was a simple decision made by my wife and myself to make this decision to homeschool our children. I identify as an African. That is who I am. That is what I am. My ancestry traces back to the Yoruba and the Fulani in what is now southern Nigeria. That's from whence I came. So I cleave to that identity. I'm an African person with a history that goes back many, many thousands of years prior to the coming of the Europeans to the West African coast. And what does that mean to me? Well, that's an orientation that allows me to look out into the world and ask what is known as Haki's question. Is it in the best interest of African people? So you asked me about homeschooling. Would it have been in the best interest of African people for me to give my children over to people who hate them? Oh, clearly that's not in their best interest. So the logical answer followed from that I have to find places that would acknowledge and embrace their genius, their potential, and seek to develop it, and shy away from, in fact, explicitly reject those environments that work against the full realization of the potential of the African children who I am in charge of. In our society, which is predicated upon the hierarchy of these so-called races, it's understood that whiteness is the normative center of the racial universe. And out of the outermost fringe, or in the hierarchy, the bottom is occupied by people who look like you and me, the black people. And with that understanding of blackness being some sort of contradistinction, some counterbalance to whiteness, it is everything that is negative within the society, everything that is bad within the society, defined in distinction in comparison to whiteness. And for me, that's why I choose to self-identify as an African person. I think it gives, again, it connects me to a history and a culture, a people, a lineage that precedes, again, the slave trade and all that followed thereafter. I am an African person. Though I recognize the political reality of blackness and the way that it's been used, I think we hopefully have progressed to a point where we can embrace that we are an African people. And where blackness has its utility, I think there's a broader embrace that being an African allows us to tap into, for example, the continental diversities of Africanness. Over on this side of the world, it's understood that blackness is often taken to mean, the children of the diaspora. Right? So we're black over here, and they are African over there. What recognizing ourselves, even though geographically we are born on this side of the water, embracing a common Africanity allows us to say to our brothers and sisters on the continent that we are still one, that the idea of separation is illusory at best. Yeah, and I think for me that's why I embrace African as an identity.